Welcome to Rewriting Your Reality, a video focused on hypnotic modalities to shift the belief systems that keep you captive. We will explore the journey from being subconsciously programmed to achieving quantum freedom. Get ready to dismantle everything you thought you knew about your own limitations. The mind's power is a historical fact. Franz Mesmer introduced animal magnetism in the 1700s. James Braid coined hypnotism, defining it as a focused physiological state. Crucially, before anesthesia, major surgeries were performed using this trance state, proving the mind's ability to override physical pain. My personal journey proves the mind transcends the body. A near-death experience revealed pure awareness. After being paralyzed, I reprogrammed my body through visualization and discipline. The core truth is that identity is the prison and the key. Your mind can reshape reality itself. Unmasking the global hypnotic modality. Secret societies and governments. They understood the power of the trance state long ago and weaponized it to shape societal structures from the shadows. Corporate hypnosis. Advertising and media use sophisticated neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, to obscure reality and shift your belief systems without your consent. The ultimate goal, to control the narrative, consumption, and consciousness of the masses, turning individuals into predictable units of a manufactured paradigm. They are the masters of the hypnotic modality. The first element of global hypnotic modality is authority, manufactured to establish psychological inferiority. Uniforms, robes, and controlled environments trigger unquestioning obedience. When you look up to an authority, your critical factor is lowered, accepting suggestions as absolute truth. The uniform is the first induction. The second element is translogic, a self-contained system logical only within its own framework. This creates a closed loop of reasoning. A doctrine establishes ultimate authority, turning rules into absolute truths. The paradigm acts as a perceptual filter, making external manipulation feel like internal conviction. The third element is overload, creating an intense, rapid-fire experience that bypasses the conscious mind. Techniques include sensory saturation, emotional triggers, and message overload. This forces the subject to feel something profound, anchoring the belief without rational scrutiny. The heart accepts what the head has no time to question. The grand illusion is when you become your own hypnotist. Division keeps us fighting each other, distracting us from the masters of the modality. They use filtered evidence to make you doubt your power. The ultimate control is when you self-hypnotize with their suggestions. I am not enough. This is the self-hypnosis of suffering. The quick release uses the Sedona method to clear emotional debris. Emotional baggage is just something you are holding on to. You can drop it using these 4 questions. Could I let this feeling go? Would I let this feeling go? When? Answer: now. Repeat until you feel a tangible shift in your state. The reframe shifts meaning and reality. Change the meaning you attach to an event, and you change your emotional response. Content reframing actively searches for the positive intent or hidden benefit. Failure is just data and feedback. A block is a stepping stone. Change the question to change the destination. You are already in a trance. Self-hypnosis is choosing your own program. This is your new operating system. Use a simple countdown to enter a deep state and plant empowering beliefs into your subconscious mind. Consistent practice rewrites your core identity, dissolving suffering and manifesting the quantum you. Are you ready to take your quantum leap? This exclusive transformation package offers the book 30 Days to the Quantum You, custom video masterclasses, and a personal Zoom session for deep work. Stop fighting the illusion and start rewriting your reality today.
Yes. Testing. 1, 2. We good. We good. Greetings and salutations, and may this day be in service to you. Welcome to Beyond the Mind, where we are not here to teach you. I'm only here to remind you. And happy long weekend to everybody. Chef, how you doing today, big bro? How you
It's
feeling?
all right. It's all right. How are you?
Yeah, and it was such a great show. We had people come in, from our other little social group with other fellow practicing therapists of hypnotherapy, maybe joining us and giving some of their insights into this wonderful topic we got today. But yeah, I think it's
Um,
going to be
yeah,
a really
The technical issues aside, Talib, give me a moment. Let me fix my stuff here.
No worries. I'll go ahead and let the people know what we're gonna be discussing today. So, what I really wanted to do, and go ahead and you can mute your mic, Chef. So oh, well, he's out of here for right now. But what I wanted to talk about today was East versus West medicine, the holistic aspect of the East versus the very systematic approach of the West. Do you find one to be better than the other, or is there a neutral ground between the two? Right. So I really wanted to open the floor up. So right from the beginning, I'm going to be opening the door up to people to come in and to talk about their opinions and feelings about East versus West. Uh, and until that time, we'll share some of our thoughts and opinions and also some of our uh, information from study and research into these particular fields. But yeah, that's what the show's about today. So
Well, can I throw an example out there?
sure.
I have been seeing the same acupuncturist for about 20 years or more. And she has endured through all the other doctors of everything else I have ever had. She has been the most consistent. Um, because I get more of a complete service with my acupuncturist because she doesn't only treat whatever the symptom may be, right? She also
Hmm.
treats your nervous system. She also will treat I have sinus problems. I'll go in and she gets to tell automatically I can't breathe correctly. Oh, boom, I'm treating your sinuses, it's just an automatic. And then she'll tell me, if I have stress, she'll tell me, "Oh, you have some stresses or something." I'm like, "Oh, really?" And she'll hit certain spots. Well, she'll just know. So, and overall, like after one visit, by the time that evening, I'm feeling like completely relaxed and better. I'm like, "Oh, okay. Whatever she did, it's working." Right now, you're talking to someone who's endured in the film business for 33 years, excuse me, and I've had a shit tons of injuries. But she has enabled me to endure through all of the injuries I've had on top of Western medicine. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I can't necessarily say it's better, but I can say that it works. I
Shout out
can.
to Stephanie. I don't want to interrupt you, but Stephanie
Okay.
left a comment. She just said hi. She subscribed. She loves and enjoys. I want to tell you thank you, Stephanie. We love and appreciate you. And
Oh yeah.
if you're out there and you want to come up and give your thoughts, please feel free to. But in the meantime, Chef, please keep cooking.
Yeah. So over the what is it, 20 years of injuries, I can say, she has been the main person that I go to. Like, the doctors are transferable, but my acupuncturist is not going anywhere because she doesn't just treat my body, she treats my whole body, just not the body part. So, that's
Yeah,
Eastern
and I
medicine.
find
So,
the real big difference when you look at Western medicine versus Eastern medicine, and it's why it's considered to be holistic. And for those that don't understand what holistic medicine or holistic treatment or holistic doctor is, a holistic person, or a person in that particular field of healing, is an individual that deals with the whole thing, right? So what I mean is they're going to deal with your mind, your physical body, right? They're gonna deal with your energy, your spirit, right? They deal with the whole thing. So they don't approach the issue that you're having as a compartmentalized thing. They see that it's something that is connected to the whole. So they try to address the whole.
mhm.
And there are different ways you may find this. You may find this in herbalists, which will tell you that, these herbs will not only flush your kidneys, but they'll work with your liver because your kidney and your liver work together. And there's this whole understanding of the body. So for anybody who didn't know, that's what holistic is really about. Whereas in Western is very systematic. If you in their mind have heart issues, before they go looking for other issues, they're going to mainly address your cardio issue, right? Even though it may be coming from other things, if they don't diagnose that and see it as such, they're only going to deal with your heart, right? So, you've had people that's gone to the doctor for a broken heart, and this is actually true, and they sent them to a therapist, right? Because there's nothing he can do about that, right? He doesn't deal he deals in, parts, right? Not the whole. He's not gonna deal with, your energy field, right? Because they don't acknowledge that. Yes, they acknowledge energy as the substance of everything, but they don't look at it as a part of what needs to be healed if there's a disease or illness that you're suffering.
My acupuncturist would give me herbs too to drink for
Mhm.
inflammation. To man, she would give me two drinks, one at night and one in the morning. One was for energy. It was like coffee, like a triple espresso just thing, and boom, fired up. And then literally, there was one drink she gives me that if I drink it, it puts me to sleep within 15 minutes. So
Mhm.
like,
I
pretty
grew up with an
amazing.
acupuncturist in Queens. His name is Dr. Yang. You know what I'm saying? And we went to
Mhm.
him many, many years. Some people, they laugh because they know, if they've been in New York, they've been out there with the Chinese medicine, they know the alligator pills is the respiratory pills,
Mhm.
you know? And the amazing thing is because, like what you're saying, like with acupuncture is it's about energy being stagnant, right? It's about and how that energy becomes stagnant. They'll explain it to you in various ways depending on what's going on in your life and your situation. But what
Mhm.
they have done was through thousands of years of intelligent Chinese medicine and doctrine, they've marked out all of the meridians and the chi points of the body where all energy is flowing. There are points,
Mhm.
right? And there's hundreds of these points throughout your body, right? And so what acupuncture, what they learned to do was to stimulate when you stimulated certain chi points or meridians, you could release blocked energy and it would
Mhm.
cause the energy to flow. And they discovered that was the nature of a lot of people's problem was this stagnant energy. And over time, this stagnant energy has led to some sort of illness that they developed. And when they released it, the body was able to do what the body does, which is an awesome self-replicating Theseus machine.
Mhm.
Meaning, are you even the same person from when you were a child? The story of Theseus's ship.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
I think
I
it's
think
pretty
it's
awesome. You hear the echo?
and where? And me?
There you go. That's better. That's better. Um, no, I think it's pretty awesome. Because how acupuncturists kind of break the mold with the holistic uh healing, right? Because it is a tradition that is thousands of years old and it still works today. Um, there's moments, man, when I could not freaking move, couldn't move. And have you ever had blood cupping?
Mm.
Okay, blood cupping is like it's amazing. So what happens is whatever injury you have, right, in your body, or you strained it or whatever, it typically ends up clotting, an internal clot, which causes inflammation because your blood can't pass through the way it once did, which causes the pain. Well, the blood cupping is they'll go to that one area that is causing you problems, the one that's extreme pain, right? And you've seen cupping, correct?
Mm.
All right, so to do cupping, they'll cup it, right, and get it real tight and let the blood rise, and then they'll poke it with a sharp little
Mm.
knife, right? Just poke it, boom, boom, boom. But they hit it like 5 times, and they'll put that suction right back on it. Well, what ends up happening is uh, throughout that time that all that clot starts to come out, and when they clean it up, it looks like almost like it's coagulated blood. It's like liver. It looks like a liver, and you'll realize, like, literally once it's released, dude, the pain is gone. It's really amazing, and it's something that Western doctors do not do. Um, it is something I've only seen acupuncturists do it, but with the acupuncturists that I've had, and you clearly need to have a lot of energy, probably need to have eaten that day, and if you do get it, it is like probably one of the more extreme pain relievers from a doctor,
I
but
know what
you
you're
know,
talking about. I've seen that before. I know what that is. I'm
yeah,
familiar.
but it helped me tremendously. So, but that's holistic. The acupuncturist would be considered a doctor, like a real doctor today. That was the doctor, right? Because
Well,
if it
today
give you herbs,
you do have more Chinese acupuncturists that went and got their medical degree as doctors, so
yeah,
they could offer
yes,
acupuncture as well.
yeah,
So, it's become way more popular over here than it used to be. You know,
yeah.
it was considered before like functional food. People didn't really believe sticking needles in your head or your body was
Mm,
going to actually heal anything. But the beautiful
mm,
thing is that we're at this point now where this mind body connection is being
mm.
more respected within Western diaspora. You know, uh, that's what I'm finding. Like because when you look at okay, so I'm really glad that you brought that up because what came from that was the EFT, right? We know that EFT directly came from acupuncture, right? Because and for those that don't know what EFT is, it's emotional freedom tapping, but it's essentially tapping on chi or meridian points and then using commands or language to direct where you are releasing energy from,
Mhm.
right? There is a scientific study to show that it works, but it is also still falls under the category of pseudoscience because quite frankly, I feel like Western medicine is except for those who are truly in this for medicine and healing but as a corporate thing, it doesn't really benefit to heal somebody, right? And have them completely done, Whereas in Eastern medicine is really trying to get to the core of your issue, but most importantly, make give you restore that sense of wholeness as a being, opposed to as a person with a medical issue. Would you agree with that? We can't hear you. Your mic is muted or something.
Sorry about that. I'm having getting over my technical difficulty today. It's been a minute, a little rusty.
Hey,
Um,
brother, you've been having one of those days, man. It's okay. It had to come for you, man. It's been going
it's
so
okay.
great. It had to come for you, right?
It's okay. It's okay. I'm down for it. I'm down for the ride. Um, my question, and I think this is like seeing how just the world is today. If you could only see one doctor, you had to choose one for everything, right? What doctor would you choose? Holistic, it can be holistic or whatever. Who would you who would you choose?
Who would I
What kind of
choose?
doctor? Yeah, what kind of doctor would you choose? Chiropractor, general practitioner. No, I don't know.
I think, well, for me personally, who I would choose is I'm going to choose like somebody I mentioned earlier, someone who is a acupuncturist and an alternative resource,
Medicine doctor.
but also went to school to get the medical doctrine so that they can understand when
You
it's
don't have
time
that
to do.
choice. You don't have that choice. It's one or the other.
Well, I don't have the choice. It's
Because
America.
that's not the choice. That's not the choice. The choice is this or that.
Well, under those
Western,
circumstances,
yes, under those
we're going to choose.
circumstances.
Well, most of us will choose from our experience, right? And so I'm going to choose from my experience, right? And my experience has not always been a positive one with Western medicine, right? So, and a lot of the things that saved me has been through holistic means, right? So naturally, I'm going to choose the holistic doctor over the Western doctor, and that depends on like what I'm dealing with.
Did you ever catch
But if
COVID?
you put it into this black and white term like this, and
Mhm.
and so that I respect the questions. I want to stay within the parameters of it. Out of what I mean. So I'm just saying
Did you ever catch COVID?
no.
Okay, I caught it. It was horrible. When I did catch it, the only thing that fixed me was holistic medicine.
Mm.
So, I mean, because it was so no one really knew what we were doing. No one really knew what was going on. I resorted to what were my weaknesses. My weaknesses were I had a constant mucus. I had a respiratory infection. I had bronchitis, asthma, all that stuff dealing with the chest. I had to figure out what I needed to do to dry myself out and then build my immune system. And it was very strategic and it took a very long time. It was not easy because my system was beat up. But the route was strengthen the immune system, slow up the mucus, and dry out the system. And it worked holistically. It worked. So
Well, that would fall under the holistic aspect, but that would be going for one particular thing, which was to dry up the lungs and the mucus, which is a part of that. You use something. Remember, they categorize things as holistic, so that you could not say you had a cure. You're right. It was to secure the positioning of complete psychological dominance over the healing industry. You know what I'm saying? I
but we
think
don't have to go there. We don't have to go there,
yeah, I'm just saying, I think what you did was amazing and good and great, I'm sure rest was involved in a lot of that because,
So all you could do was rest. Couldn't do anything else. Take 4 steps and you're about to pass out. I was bad. It's pretty bad.
mm.
Um,
Well, Western medicine is the one that lets you know you had it, right?
right? Yeah, the thing is, okay, this is we're gonna take it old school, right? When you used to get a sprained knee in the 80s, because we're about the same age, right? Sprained knee. What would you do with your sprained knee besides ice? What would your mom do or your grandmother do? Right? They would go take a brown paper bag, right? Heat up some apple cider vinegar. Put that brown paper bag in that apple cider vinegar and then wrap your leg with it to open up the pores so that vinegar could go inside the pores to decrease the swelling, right? Do you remember did you ever do that? Any of your family ever do that for you?
Nah.
Never. Have you ever heard of that?
Nope.
Okay.
So that's in every finger like at least twice a week because I played a lot of basketball.
That's an old school Southern thing, right? Now, I don't know who invented that, but that shit worked, right? No doctor was going to tell you to do that. But it worked.
Yeah,
specifically the brown paper bag and the vinegar.
But cultural home remedies fall into that category, in my personal opinion, of the holistic market. You know what I mean? That's because when you start going into your family, if you have a family as such, and there are people that do, right? So with those type of people that have that kind of connection in family, stuff, grandmothers and stuff, we all have these remedies that we were taught, you know what I mean,
Mhm.
that were very different from what doctors were telling people to do or whatever offer you to do that actually work. You know? I had the mumps when I was a kid, and my grandmother, she made some, uh, what was it? It was like sardines with the onions and garlic, and fried it and create all this juice out of it. And she put that on like this towel, and they wrapped it around my neck. Smelled horrible. The next day, I didn't have the mumps anymore.
Mm. I have a good one. I have a good
So
one for you.
that's just like the power of the home remedy, right? Like,
It's all holistic.
it's
So,
all
you know,
holistic. It's all in that
so so
part.
so so then this also goes into our line of work because there's a confidence that's put into that, right? Into the home remedy. There's a confidence that's put into that. Um and within that confidence, it's almost like you're hypnotizing. It's a sort of hypnotism, right? Because
Well, yeah, in a way, they didn't
if
have
you
to. Let me say that they didn't have to because when we got those, we was before the age of 8,
Mhm.
which meant a lot of a lot of that we just accepted, right? They didn't have to, you know, it was a part of that before you get a critical mind thing going on. It's a part of, it's one of the earliest things I can remember about being me,
Yeah, I
you know?
remember playing football. Some Russian kid, um, came in. He was really sick, man. His mom told him to put onions, slice some onions, put it in the socks. Dude, he put them onions in his socks. He was stinking like, oh, you can smell him. But he was well the very next day, and like looking at the bottom of his socks, you could see all the stuff all coming out of his feet. It's pretty amazing. I was like, oh, another holistic trick.
And to the people in the chat, go ahead and share some of the holistic home remedies you may have been exposed to. I would love to know some of those. Another one for me was ginger, and boiling it a
Mm,
certain way, and bringing the ginger up to a point where it's activated, and then adding water and then simmering it like a brew, and
mhm,
then just drinking it when adding a little bit of cayenne. If you don't like the
mhm,
bitterness, you just add a little honey, and you
mhm,
add cayenne pepper, and you drink that, and bam, whatever's going on, it gets eliminated, you know.
mhm,
And but I also realized that there's that other aspect too, whereas you know you know, like I know a lot of the things our body and things we're encountering,
mhm,
it comes from the mind and the conditioning of the mind, right? And the things that we believe about ourselves and our experience, right?
mhm.
You would agree with that, right?
Yeah, I have a client, and maybe we could bring this up. I'm not gonna say, obviously not say any names for the protection of my client, but there's other issues. Well, I'm not necessarily concerned about the other issues. I think the issue that I would like to start to address are the migraines. My past conversations, a migraine has been mentioned, right? So if you have a client with migraine, and who feels like they have a lot of responsibility, um, and it's coming from a big breakup and the stresses of that, but they are getting these migraines out of nowhere. How would you address that? How would you treat that client? How would you deal with that in the hypnotherapy aspect of things?
But you said this person is having migraines out of nowhere.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
start having
just start having
because I was thinking about a program, but I was like, you know what?
let me say this.
Let me bring
Yeah,
it up.
Peach said, a black piece of thread tied around ankle or leg for pain.
Okay.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Peaches, where your family from? You from New Orleans? I can hear you laughing. I don't know how I can hear you. I can hear you laughing. Where your
Huh.
family from, Peaches?
I'm sure she'll put it in the chat.
Okay.
South
Another
Carolina
thing.
in
Yeah.
the house. I got a lot of family. Shout out to the Dunlaps and
South
Lums,
Carolina.
South
Okay.
Carolina.
All right. So I know for sure you know that what you're talking about. That is not going to be contested. So
Mhm,
I'm going to just
mhm.
nod my head and agree with that and take that in the
Here's
in
the
the note
thing.
library.
I'm gonna tell you, if someone when that it comes to me and telling me they just start suffering from migraines, they don't have a history of it,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm gonna tell them to go see a doctor
Mm-hmm.
because onset headaches out of nowhere
Uh-huh.
is one a sign of tumors. That's a, you can look that up,
Uh-huh.
and it can be something that is overlooked.
Uh-huh.
I lost a friend as a child when I grew up in Parkchester, and he had an aneurysm on the basketball court
Mhm.
because he had something going on that you see what I'm saying? Oh, that's
I,
nothing.
I'm glad you mentioned that, but that is not the case. She's already gone to the doctor. But finish your story because what you're saying is very important.
Yeah. Uh, and he passed away
Mhm.
because he had an issue that they thought was nothing. Uh, I had someone very close to me. He passed away a couple of years ago from an ulcer,
Mhm.
and he didn't know it was that bad,
Mm. Mm.
you know? And Peach had made a statement about change diet for headache, and headaches could also come from low blood sugar.
Mhm.
Which here's another little interesting fact that might interest a lot of people to know. You know, blood sugar is one of the major causes for anxiety.
Mhm.
And it's one of the major causes for phobias with anxiety. Right? You don't know where you got
Mhm.
it from. And I'll give you an example of that. Right? Let's say this person they they come and get going to work. Right? They had some coffee and a sugary donut. Right? And now they by the time they get to work, it was a longer ride than expected. Their blood sugar is dropping. Okay,
Mhm.
they go to the elevator. They get on the elevator. The doors close. It does the normal thing, little ding ding. All of a sudden, he gets nervous, right? Because low blood sugar can cause you to send you into fight or flight mode, which
Mhm.
shows up in the world today as anxiety. So now, because he has low blood sugar and he's experiencing anxiety and he was getting on the elevator and it was going up when it happened, now associates being afraid of elevators,
Mm.
right? Why he won't get on it. I don't know why, I just have this fear of elevators. It's was never a true fear of elevators, right? It was actually the fact that they had low blood sugar, right? And another interesting thing, just so you know, there's the difference between a fear and a phobia is a fear has a source, a story. It came from something that happened. Like let's say you have a fear of dogs or bees because you were stung when you were a child. Phobias don't have a source. Can't tell you where it came from. Sometimes they can't really tell you when it started. Most phobias start after the age of 13. Mm,
So now, now that you have a little bit more information, she has already gone to a doctor. She's already gotten that checked out. And you, she's fighting a few things. So next step is what? How would you treat her now? If she doesn't have any fears, um, and she doesn't have phobias, she's just hurt. She's hurt and she's got these stresses.
When you say hurt, you mean crying syndrome?
No, broken heart. I had a bad breakup. Was in a relationship for a few years. Was engaged, and they called it off because family became priority over the relationship. So one of her mate's parent got ill. She had to take care of her parent, and that became the priority over the relationship. So she felt a little rejected, which there we go. I'm talking now. A little rejected, and that kind of spiraled into something from her childhood. So
And what does she want? What's her desired outcome?
to be happy, get rid
What
to
does
get rid of her pain, get rid of her pain.
what does that look?
I don't know.
There you go.
That's the next.
There you go. You got to find out what that looks like to her, right?
Mhm.
You have to understand what she's actually looking for, right? And what that would be like to her, and get her to use the language that she finds appropriate to what it would feel like, what it would be like, what it would look like. And then you're going to use imagery, and so of course you're going to use systematic, right? If it's just a simple session, you would systematically, you just give the self suggestions. You feel what I mean? But put together a nice image, right? Have her have her protector and her wiser, escort her on that journey, take her to that quiet place, that place of safety and security.
Mm.
You feel what I
Protector.
mean?
She's been with the protector. She's been through that journey. She's been through safety,
You
security.
asking me what
So
I
she's
would do though, you know? I'm telling you what I
she's
would do. I'm
been.
not questioning
She,
what you've done.
but no, I'm just because it all plays in what we're talking about, right? Because I guess the situation is, as she's already seeing Western doctors, where do we fall in line? We're not a doctor. We're hypnotherapists, right? But we're into the health and wellness, into helping people feel better mode. But
We're
where
into helping people that are ready to make that journey, that wants to
yes,
make that journey, right? Which
where do
means
we fit in line in
they
this
don't
conversation
clearly
though?
see the outcome. We should be able to guide them and help them get to the point of what they are trying to say to us, right? Through the right questioning, patience, rapport, right? Sensory acuity, and being able to just be in tune and touch with them and ask the right questions. Because to the audience, your life will never be better than the quality of your questions.
Where do we
Where
fall in
do we
line
fall in
in
line?
the Eastern versus Western medicine conversation? Are we right down the middle? And because like I think we talked earlier, I was like, okay, who was the first hypnotist? But how did that happen? Like in the world, like who got hypnotized? Who was the first person? Did that stem from a concussion? Right? Did that? How did that? What happened? How did that? The whole evolution of that, like the very first person in the entire
Well,
world,
we can't
you know.
we can't fairly say that like just from a documentation point, we don't know what the very first man and woman was doing.
Of course, we
We
don't.
just
But
know from the point of the prefrontal cortex, right? From the point of consciousness where we are conscious, we are aware. This is where we know it from, right? Now, if we do it from there, we know that this came from the high priest, right? And these other individuals, right, that had the understanding of how the mind worked, the way they understood it during their time, right?
mhm,
So we know that the high priests and with the pharaohs, we know the rituals they did with them.
mhm,
We know it was hypnotism.
mhm,
Why? Because we know that they used the big three, right? And we know that they gave them suggestions.
mhm.
And we know that they went in one state, left in another state, and with a changed behavior, right? So we know that the people that have been philosophizing or basically writing things down that we are basically saying is history in this sense, these are the people that were aware of something about the mind, right?
Mhm.
They're the ones that sort of understood this. That's why they use the incense. That's why they use big paintings with colorful imagery and big walls and all these things to take a person and put them in that state of awe. So when they tell them something, they would do it. I think, but what I found interesting was I do believe that concussions are similar to it. It is a almost I wouldn't say a damaged state of hypnosis, but it is a state of hypnosis in which a person's critical mind is on the fritz.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know what I mean? Which is not as consistent as, say, me hypnotizing someone,
Yeah.
you know?
But once again, if a person has a concussion and they're out of it, you can kind of convince them. You can kind of take them wherever the hell you need to take them, like because they're just not there. They're not present. You know. So.
Right, but you can't sometimes because some people and I did guest relations for several years in Hollywood at the Standard.
Mhm.
And I can tell you, I've seen many people get concussions, and not everybody responds the same.
Yeah.
Some people become uncontrollable and wildly out of their mind. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Because they subconscious is there, and ain't nobody put them there. That the injury put them there. So
mhm.
trying to calm them down, sometimes it's not like as simple as giving a command for them to just listen and
Yeah.
do what you say. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But I do agree with it being a hypnotic state. I think I think a lot of American football players
Mhm.
are in that state a lot.
The concussed state. Oh, absolutely.
Well, the human
I mean,
skull
shit.
wasn't designed to be
I mean,
smashed together.
I can remember every concussion I got when I played football. I can remember clear as day. Um, because once you get your bell rung, what does it sound like? Woo, 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 woo. And then your ear, you know what I'm talking about? That little tone in the middle of your ear start ringing, and then
Yeah,
you're like, oh, hold up. That's your first
that weird
concussion.
feeling floating inside
Oh
your
yeah,
own
and
body.
or you see stars, little
Oh yeah, that's
floaters.
real. Yeah, stars, the floaters are real. That's a real thing.
Yeah,
Cartoons got that right.
start seeing the floaters. You know, and then back when we played, are you okay? Because it was just an aesthetic check. It wasn't really let me look in your eyes and follow this. But they didn't do that. They'd be like, "Are you good? Yeah, we're good. All right, get back in there." Right? That was the check back then
Well,
in the day.
and just also mentioning on that point, going back into the Western medicine stuff, that's sort of like why so many of us are catching on to Eastern holistic medicine so late, you know, because it was quite frankly demonized and made to be ridiculous when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was in the movies, it was never done in a tasteful, respectful way.
Mm-hmm.
And they never had a good ending to it, right? Like they they always was proven to be the quack at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
thing. And and so I'm gonna go with Eastern for me, right? And and some of the things in Western is still in Eastern. I feel like Western medicine, and this is not specific doctors or people in the field of medicine that's made great contributions to talking about this whole thing as a corporate structure.
Mm-hmm.
You agree with that, right, Chef?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I know a good doctor. I got a kung fu sister who is the head of a cancer the whole cancer department in LA, and she program and they help
Didn't
many.
hear you. Can't hear you. Didn't hear you.
I said,
There you go.
I don't know if you couldn't hear me or the people couldn't hear
There you go. Now you're good.
because my level was the same. But dang, I was saying something about my good kung fu sister who's a doctor,
Doctor. Mm-hmm.
cancer doctor. So yeah, and she does kung fu. So she always shares. And shout out to Barbara, by the way. she always offers qigong and other Eastern modalities to people when it's available. She believes in that kind of balance, but corporately we don't. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
you're not going to run into those people all the time. You know, they're very they can be very difficult to come by if you're not really looking for them. You know, but I really would love to know what people think. What are you for? The Eastern medicine, Western medicine? Peach, I'd love to know what you think. You know, we're going to open up the lines for people to come in and share their thoughts and opinions about Eastern medicine. And, before this one is all over, we're going to definitely go over some things you can do to make some healthy changes in your life. And if anybody like to come up and have a quick conversation about something that they think that they're dealing with, and if we can offer some assistance and it's within the scope of what we do, let's go. Let's do it. So, Peach, if you open the lines, and hey, Peach, why don't you come up here and give your opinion while you're at it? I'm gonna go ahead and reach out to a couple of people and let them know to come on in.
What's up, Peaches? Or Peach? How you doing?
Hey, if Maybach is out there, I really do expect Maybach to be watching. I'll just messing with him. What up, Mel? If you out there, man, Mel, you should definitely come up here, man, if you out there, because I know how you feel about Eastern uh, uh, holistic medicine, and I definitely know what you feel about Western, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, and I believe people could learn something. But Peach, I'd love for you to share your thoughts on that because you have some very insightful thoughts on how you feel about Western medicine. So, oh, you didn't give your feedback. What's your
Who am I?
yeah?
Oh, of the Eastern versus Western. Well, I always have to go with Eastern. Man. Eastern is much older. Western basically takes the same Eastern medicines and changes it and packages it at a pill and charges you an enormous amount for it on a concentrated level. I mean, so I think Eastern for me has it hands down
Mm,
because Eastern treats the overall body versus just the symptom.
right.
Is
I
there a
feel like
reason why I can't see the chats?
um yeah,
I
you
can't
gotta
see
ask
them.
Peach that. I don't see
Hey
all of them
Peach,
myself.
I can't see any of the chats and the audience messages at all.
I think on the
Is it
bottom
possible for me
right
to see
you should
those?
chat.
No, I know I have it up. I just can't see them.
I know that we got Stephanie in here. Stephanie, come on up. You've been saying some great things, and we love to hear your thoughts about this. And I know that we are on multiple platforms and on, I believe it's TikTok and Instagram, and anybody from there that want to come in and get involved, please share your opinion. We got Sunchild 51. Are you talking about European when you
Yeah,
say yes? I'll be talking
yeah.
about
Mm-hmm.
Western medicine,
Just Western medicine.
which is European medicine at the end of the day versus Eastern medicine, which would essentially be all of the Aboriginal people's medicine. That's what I consider it to be. You know, indigenous or Aboriginal people's medicine. You know, because
You know what's
that's what.
amazing?
Hmm?
UCLA has a Eastern medicine department, and it literally takes a year, um, for you to be, or excuse me, 6 months, 6 to 8 months for to be on the waiting list to get into the Eastern medicine department. Isn't that wild? They have a waiting list to get into a department that they know is like everyone should have access to it,
Right.
but it's the hardest department to get access to.
Well, I don't want to get too conspiratorial.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
you hit
You
on
know what I'm
something
saying.
that's real deep there,
We
man.
don't need to go there, but
I'm trying to keep it, but you still you trying to go beyond the mind.
yeah, I'm trying to say things without having to say things. I'm always riding that thin line of the. I'm a habitual line stepper, as Charlie Murphy used to say.
Oh, okay. I'm a going through Daiji, man. So
I'm a
I just let
habitual
it
line
go,
stepper, bro. I'm
it
riding
go
that
with like water,
thin
man.
border, the thin non-existent border of a line. I'm riding it.
Yeah, and to Sunchild, we are talking about Eastern versus Western modalities of healing. Which is better? Which do you think is better? What do you think is better, Sunchild? Would you say Eastern, holistic, right? Or would you say Western, or do you think both of them are necessary and they both have a place in making us well? Or do you think that one is out actually that's not really as helpful as it claims it is? And the things that it does do aren't things that the Eastern modalities were incapable of doing in the first place. Now, I think some people would argue that certain illnesses that are incurable are better treated under Western medicine, but I don't think there's a bunch of with the way I understand how they do statistics and weigh things out, it's a thin line there, man. It's a really thin line. So I'm really not 100% convinced that uh, like Western medicine has some answer that Eastern medicine doesn't. And I think some people out there would use the Big C as an example, but I think that oh wait, we got taking photos. Oh, and okay, so taking photos said I found a balance of both. However, the great wise wisdom of Eastern and the technical capability that are being discovered. Okay, I like that. And Sunchild 51 said they both
Have their
have their
purposes.
and that's what I agree with. Like, I don't know if I'm going to necessarily go to an acupuncturist if I break my leg.
Yeah,
Might
but
want
see,
to go.
there was one point though that acupuncturist fixed broken legs,
I know,
right? So
but I don't know if they really do that now, and they would probably tell you if they're just the acupuncture. Well, because the way the laws are set up today, it's not something that they know. Like a lot of holistic people really delve in because remember, now you're treading into medical malpractice waters. They literally, it's like you know, you have to really be careful I think when you're dealing with certain holistic practices, not to tread into that territory of things that would require a medical referral. Yeah. Those were great responses though, guys. Thank you so much. If anybody else want to come up in, I know we're getting people watching on TikTok and if you're on TikTok, I believe Peach could drop you in here if there's something you like to speak about. Say in this particular instance when we're talking about East versus Western medicine, please jump in, join us. We'd love to hear from you. Also, we're coming up on the end of our first hour, and I just want to tell everybody to like, share, and subscribe. Please like, share, and subscribe. Uh, and also check out the incredible other shows that Peach has, that are available on the network. She has the check in. She has the 12 p.m. and the 12 a.m. I think that's coming up this Saturday. Um, and these are some amazing shows. She always have great topics and have me laughing in the background, and I just really love to hear what people have to say. Sunchild 51 said they send you to the hospital with broken bones and asthma. That's true. She's talking about acupuncturists, I believe, in Eastern medicine. And taking photos said, and now the understanding of the power of the mind. Ah, and I that's our main thing here, and I'm not going to advocate against Western medicine. That's not what I'm trying to do at all. And I'm not going to advocate against herbs or anything. But there's a big part that your mind plays in all of this that I feel like is very seldomly discussed, you know? And I think that's something that's very important. Like, we need to maybe dig a little bit into the fact that there's something called body syndrome.
I want to mention that. I want to bring up that asthma comment, because I have asthma, and I don't treat my asthma with the bronchodilator. Excuse me, the inhalers, not the bronchodilators, but the inhalers, unless it's extremely bad, and it hasn't been that bad in years. But what I will do, if I can tell it's going to flare up, is I will take nettle leaf tea, and I will drink mullein, and I'll mix them. And nettle leaf is for your allergies, and mullein is for inflamed lungs, and it decreases the inflammation in your lungs. And the combination of two does kind of helps both. And I am nowhere near a doctor, and this is for entertainment purposes only, but that has helped me with my asthma without having to take the other. So that is a Eastern holistic medicine trick. If you have asthma or allergy related asthma, nettle leaf and mullein, the mixture of the two, work tremendously. So, and the broken bones, I just saw somebody in India getting their leg beaten with a rubber mallet, straightening that leg out.
Yeah. I mean, I think their point was that they send you to
No, I know.
with broken bones and that.
I know.
That's
But I was just saying that though.
But I think that's the asthma treatment. If the people out there, definitely give that a shot. And help your asthma. I was a chronic asthma. I've been intubated more than twice. I'm no longer. I don't know. Qigong is very powerful.
I had surgery. I used saliva method and pictured the best case scenario. Oh, the silver method. Oh, there we go. Silver method. There we go. What surgery did you have? What surgery did you have taking photos? Or if you don't mind commenting.
Oh, what up, Maybach? He is here. I knew it. Look at the smile, bro. I'm very happy to see you, brother. Peace, King. Hey, now I'm speaking to Maybach this way, guys. Peace, King. What's Maybach? You got to jump in here and give your opinion, man. You don't have to turn your
absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you, Sunchild 51.
Go ahead.
That's why they only treat the final injury. They don't treat the actual the root of the issue. They'll treat the final cause or the final problem of the issue. Right. Yeah, asthma is a beast, man. It's all about figuring out what triggers it. And fortunately for me, it was my allergies that were triggering my asthma. So I had to figure out how to not trigger my allergies, or even if they are triggered, what is the combination that will affect them? And then once they are triggered and inflamed, what can I do to bring that down? And mullein leaf tea is amazing for your lungs.
The thing under the Kappa-Zinn method, Dr. Kappas, please look up Dr. Kappas, man. John Kappas, HMI. He spoke about asthma in one of the case conferences that I was researching, and he found that asthma is still a body syndrome, but when you can't express your emotions properly, when they were cut off, they weren't allowed to blossom a certain way, and we internalize our emotion, it goes to the chest because it's a part of the crying syndrome, and because we can't express it, it's why we tighten up. And here's the interesting about asthma for many years. People think it's because you can't breathe. No, 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 no. You can't breathe out.
Mm-hmm.
With asthma, you can take a breath in. That's why you hear the wheezing. You go to breathe out, it's like breathing through a straw. Right? Because we're constricted. It's an emotional thing. And when I was little, a lot of it came from my environment and the way I grew up, and a lot of things that I didn't get a chance to deal with that probably, that should have been dealt with for me to be a well, healthy, adjusted child that wasn't. And that's how it manifested itself in that body syndrome. I overcame it through Qigong, and I believe for a long time it was through Qigong I overcame it. But I really began to understand that it wasn't the Qigong, it was my peace of mind and my letting go, right? And because I did that, I was so much in that letting go, and what I was finding through the Qigong, it was like, oh, I don't have asthma anymore. But it wasn't that. It was, you know what I mean? And I didn't understand that at the time until as I currently am still continuing my education, and learned these things about how we process body syndrome. So there's a lot of body syndrome. Also learn if you're one of these athletes and you like playing basketball, but you're always twisting your ankle, and this has a lot to do with your. It has a lot to do with body syndrome, right? And I just find that like keep us safe will set up what appears to look like self-sabotage. That's what I'm saying. Wait. Before you go on, I just want to say Maybach said, oh, okay. He said, can't really not in good mood or good energy face.
Mom's in hospital.
Mom thinks, oh, brother. Hey, your mom's is in my prayers, in my thoughts for her swift, well recovery. Handle your business. I appreciate you even chiming in, and I'm very sorry to hear that, brother.
Sending out good vibes to Maybach's mom.
Yeah, sending out healing vibes and wonderful,
good vibes and healing energy to your mother. Yeah, man, interesting topic tonight. Because there's so many things that you like, that you know are great, like the X-ray, right? The MRI, right? The CAT scan. Those things are fantastic. Like, what will we do in modern era without those things right now? Right? Look at how many knee surgeries that have been saved just by having an MRI. Like,
yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's amazing. So, I mean, because what, back in the day, the average knee surgery, it would be a big ass line this long in someone's knee for MCL, ACL, anything. It didn't matter. It was a line this long from the bottom of your thigh to the top of your to the below your kneecap. Long line going across your knee. Now it's just 2 dots, 2 small dots for MCL. Right? Amazing advancement. But once again, and I think the advancement, the tech are on the technical side, right? But I think when it comes to the medication side, it's not so far advanced. But on the technical end, it's really advanced. But on the prescription side, right, it's not. Yeah. So.
I agree. There's a lot of truth in that. Sunshine 51 said, however, they give up cancer. Take it. Photo said, healing vibe to me.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that used to happen. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to talk over you.
Oh,
I was going to
no way.
say
Reading the
one
chat,
thing that
giving
that used to
the people
happen
their
when
voice.
that our parents used to happen with our parents' generation, right? They would go to the hospital, and no matter the problem, they would give them an enema, and they would stay there till the day passed, whatever they passed, and then a lot of times people would go home because they knew how what the enema was doing. It was going to cleanse them and eliminate whatever the problem could be, right?
Mm.
How often do you think the average person in the states fasts a year or cleanse? Just does a cleanse, takes a diuretic, cleans their system once a year. How often? How often? Because we're supposed to cleanse once every 6 months. That's kind of how it's supposed to be. Once every 6 months, you're supposed to cleanse your body. So how often do you think the average person does it? Even once a year, maybe even.
I would say that first of all, when you say fast, you mean just like actual I need to clean my gut fast,
Yeah,
and or detoxing where they
yeah.
do
Detox
drugs.
fast. They all are in the same category. Detox
I would
fast
say that
for whatever.
you have a portion of the population that has bought into the health movement, so they spend a lot of money on what they believe is good health because they want to be healthy, right? So, but I think for the greater portion of America, they don't fast because if they did, we wouldn't have the largest obesity crisis in the world, right? That wouldn't that wouldn't be able to be a thing, right? And
Parasites. Mhm.
but yeah, I think it's a combination of that. I don't, I respectively do understand that these things exist and that they are out there, right? Uh, I do respectfully understand that. I think right now that's kind of the story that's pitching, and now everybody's got uh, a medicine or not a medicine, but they have is some sort of program or diet or
Mhm.
substance that's supposedly get rid of parasites because
Mhm.
right now they say everybody got parasites.
It's true.
And when you think about how the mind works,
Mhm.
you know, it's like, okay, prime example, when we were younger, right? You remember they used to show them commercials all the time for pharmaceutical drugs in the 90s. They were like rampant in the 90s.
Mhm.
Everything had a pharma,
May cause heart attack, stroke, diabetes. Yeah, a whole
right?
bunch of
Right?
stuff. A
Call
whole
your
bunch of
doctor,
stuff. Yeah,
right? Call your
for
doctor.
permission.
See if Valtrex is right for you, right? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, it's sort of the same thing people are doing now, where they are just going, do is your gut swollen? That's parasites. Are you feeling tired? That's parasites. Like, first of all, these are symptoms of the body. These symptoms don't always tell you exactly what is wrong, right? They just tell you that something is wrong. That's a fact, right? And what are symptoms? Here, we all have them. They are basic. It's what our body does when it is addressing an issue, right? One of those things is we create inflammation, right? So people swell, right? Another thing is fever. The body tries to burn things off.
Mhm.
Another thing is expulsion, meaning you may expel or you may expel from either end,
Mhm.
right?
From the rooter to
And
the
then the
tutor.
other one is sweating,
Mhm.
right? The body
Mhm.
will expel virus, bug, whatever, right? And that last one is through the mucus, coughing. This is why we have mucus buildup. It's an actual collection of the body trying to get rid of toxin that has accumulated over time, seal it in this mucus, and then expel it. And
Mhm.
and that's why we don't just cough. Our body forces us to cough because it's ready to expel, right? So these are symptoms. It means the way the body attempts to heal itself. So when my body attempts to heal itself, it doesn't mean I have this thing. it means something's going on. And so when you just immediately say this kind of thing to a person, the first thing their mind conflates to is, that's my problem. And I think that's why a lot of people are running around misdiagnosed, diagnosing themselves, running around here and dealing with a wrong diagnosis for themselves and wasting money in one direction and never actually solving the problem.
Yeah, but they're 50-50 with their misdiagnosis. I mean, you're either they're just as correct as the doctor. 50-50. So, I mean, it's been so many errors in the medical field at this point because you are your own best doctor, right? You're supposed to trust your body more and know your body more than anyone else.
Right, but you're not talking from that perspective. We're talking about people being influenced to believe something's wrong with them, and then absorbing that influence as if it's their diagnosis. That's not being in touch with yourself.
I understand where you're going, but you can still be influenced, or you can still be in touch with your body, and still be influenced at the same time.
I don't disagree with that either,
Okay.
right? But we're talking about a positive influence versus an influence that may not have your best interest in mind, but their profit. Right? Just like those pharmaceutical commercials. Half the people that have the problem, some of them came in and created the problem in their own mind, right? Some actually had the problem though. And so it did. That's not the issue.
50-50.
Right. The issue is the ideology and the social behavioral transformation that's occurring behind the ideology. You see what I'm saying? That's where I feel like some of that issue comes in, you know. And when it comes to people just getting these wild diagnoses because they heard a couple symptoms and they conflate the symptom to saying, now, yeah, I have that thing because I have that symptom. And symptoms aren't necessarily an indication that you have that problem because people don't know what a symptom is.
Have you heard of the new sports division? I don't know if you and I spoke about it earlier. It's called Enhanced, right? Where all of the athletes are enhanced, where steroids is legal.
Oh yeah, I read an article about it.
Right. So and I think they launched it in Vegas. I'm not quite sure, but it just went public, right? So this is a perfect mix of Eastern versus Western medicine, because a lot of the applications are going to be applied to all modalities, right? And they're going to combine that with Western steroids, human growth hormones, testosterone, whatever enhancement they can think of is going to be part of it. Now, the interesting part of this is how far the body goes. Because the body will go as far as the mind will tell it, right? Or at least until the heart explodes. So I think this is a perfect example of what we're talking about. Like when it manifests, after it manifests, we'll be like, oh, this is a great example. And then we can actually compare some of the things. We will. But I'm also curious because we start talking about this sports enhancement, like how much stronger and faster they're going to be than the normal person who's not enhanced. Oh, they're not normal people, but to the athlete who's not enhanced, like, is that going to diminish the quality of sports that's being put out in the future, right? Because if you have these performers performing at this high level, even though they're on drugs, but at this high level, and then you have these other that are trying to perform at that level, but have been above these people for so long, what happens to them? what happens to them, the natural people, the people that are doing it right? Because the people want to see the freaks, right?
So, I mean, are we calling them? That's what we calling them now?
I mean, excuse my language, but it's a show, correct? And Tyler, I have an emergency. I'm going to turn my camera off quickly, but I'm here and I can hear everything you're saying.
Okay. Oh, okay. I guess he had the real emergency where he couldn't finish the point. Oh, okay. Hey. So I personally, from what he was saying, is I agree to a certain degree. I'm in the feel good business. Listen, guys, if you don't know that much about me, my name is Talib. I have a uh, hypnotherapy business that where you can come and speak with me, and I will help you with uh, uh, the things in your life that would move you forward, right? And within the confines of my scope of practice. And I do avocational vocational self-help, guys. That means I can help you get to where you're trying to go when you're trying to get your life together, say in the sense of financially. Maybe you find yourself at a place in your life where you need to make better choices or decisions. Maybe you're trying to quit some bad habits. Maybe you're ready to push yourself to get that to that next level, right? Maybe you just don't know. Maybe you have a sense of loss, right? There's so many reasons. Maybe you're ready to go right to that next level. You're ready. You just need that extra push, right? That's what I'm here for, right? And if there's something seriously wrong, I'm not going to treat you. I want to help you, which means I'm going to do what I can within my power, within my means of reason to help you get to a professional. And we can work together with that professional to give you the help that you need because it's a community healing, wellness. It's a community, right? So that's what I do. If you like to come up and get a taste of what I do, you're always welcome. The link is in the description, is down in the chat. You can jump on in. Let me see. Sunchild once said back in the day, they were using that and doing supernatural stuff. In the 80s, they would no longer let them use, and football changed. No more supernatural. I'm not 100% sure what you're saying, Sunchild, but you usually be cooking, so maybe I just never had this meal before. So I'm gonna just I'll leave it like that. You know, I think I understand what you're saying though. Yeah, and if you look at history, I'm reading some of the chat guys from Sunchild. If you look at history of the medical system, it's terrible. When you look at the history of the medical system in America and throughout Europe, it was pretty dark how we got to where we are. We didn't get there easily, you know. And I would never get in a time machine and go back. Okay, now I'd only go forward. Yeah, but thank you, Sunchild. I love the engagement. I understand where you're coming from. I respect it. I can definitely feel it, and I appreciate the passion that you bring to your statement. Pete, if you out there, uh, thank you once again for being behind the show and giving me this wonderful opportunity to come out to people and share what I have to share. So big up to Peach. Appreciate you. And yeah, we're on the second hour now, and we'll talk a little bit about feeling good. And if you could answer in the chat, what are some of the things that you do when you realize you're not feeling well to make yourself feel better?
Me?
Well, I'm gonna let you go ahead and take it away in a second about that. But I was asking the chat. to chime in.
Well, let them add to this, but I will start off because I think what I do works for me, and I can't necessarily say it works for everyone else. When for let's say anxiety or something when my nervous system is out of pocket, what I do emotional feeling technique, EFT, which is a tapping, and then I'll say my statement until it's cleared. And if that doesn't work, whatever my problem may be, I will imagine my problem, but I will put it in the form of a cloud, and I'll assign it to a cloud, and I imagine my cloud floating away, and whatever that problem is, that's within that cloud, and if it gets higher and higher and floats away and gets higher and higher, and then by the time I look up and that cloud is gone, and the problem has subsided. That's one of the ways that I get rid of my ongoing issue. But the EFT and then the tapping, or I'll meditate, and or do Reiki, self Reiki, which
Mm,
is awesome because that it will clear whatever problem you may have and unblock your chakras. So that's what I do.
let's see. We got taking photos. Say they do the Sedona and EFT. I know you do that. There you go. That's that magic right there. And Sunshine says, I listen to music. I'ma say that's a wonderful thing. Music, and here's the interesting little fact about the music thing. They used to say that, you've heard the saying that listening to classical music can make you smart, help you study better, creates better focus. Well, I'm gonna tell you that is not true. That is not true. Any music that you like and you listen to actually help with your learning and focus.
Absolutely.
So, parents out there, if you listening and you got kids and you should be listening to Beethoven or Vivaldi. No, go ahead and let them put on this Playboy Cardi. Let them, let them. Why you study it though, right? I personally feel like the lyrics in these music is terrible, and why would you want to affirmate yourself into that world? But at the same time, if a person is focused and they are in that trance type state where they're doing something, that will not distract them. It'll only bring more attention and focus to what they're doing. So,
Mhm.
parents out there, I'm here to let you know, letting your kid listen to music will improve their homework, right? It'll prove how much they do their work, how quickly they're able to get through the work. When you make them sit there quietly and in the silence, and it does not necessarily promote learning. So there you go. That's a nice little fact. So yeah, and Sunchild says, oh no, no, that's what Sunchild said about the music. And Take a Photo said, music is
A good
a
one,
good
Sunchild.
one. Yeah, Sunchild. Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. So I love that. I love the self Reiki. That sounds amazing.
The
Um,
album, the
yeah.
album that I put on anytime I get stressed, is my go-to album, is Miles Davis Sketches of Spain. That is
Mm,
my go-to. If I got a problem, I'm putting that shit on, man. I'm like, okay, we're gonna figure this one out. And it's just simple. It's not his most complicated music, but it's beautiful. And it really it gets me to the place where I can reach whatever I need to. Um,
mhm.
and it's always good for us to have that, right? You got to have that. Where can I go when I need to tap out for a moment? Because we all tap out. We just need to know where we can go to tap out.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, some people they don't really tap out; they fall out.
hmm,
you
hmm.
know, they keep going and going and going. But that's really interesting. What I like to do uh, when I'm upset or bothered or in that particular energy. Well, my particular thing is from the Sedona, and what I do is I allow myself to feel as bothered or irritated or whatever the emotion is as I do, right? And then I allow myself to feel as open and free as I do. And I go back and forth because you can't focus on the two things. And sometimes that energy is a story. It becomes very stagnant inside of us, right? And it's a story. We don't realize it's energy, right? Because it appears to us as stories, right? But when you go and allow yourself to go into that negative, and go ahead and just let it be there, and then allow yourself to just feel as free as you do at that moment. Might be just a little bit, whatever it is, allow it to be, and you go back and forth, and you'll see it just breaks it all up, breaks it all up. Then the story just right. Another thing I like to do is bring myself back into the moment. You know, I might
Mhm.
notice that my feet are on the ground and what that feels like and what my feet feel like inside of my shoes, you know? And I'll bring myself to this awareness of the moment, right? And the emotion is not really in the moment, it's somewhere else. It's fighting for the attention of the moment. And when I can relinquish that, then boom, I'm back to my sunny, chippery self because that's the natural state of me, you know? I'm a like this guy, you know? So a lot of times when I get like that, I realize I give thanks for the opportunity to notice that there's something protective running inside of me that's offering me an opportunity to reevaluate how I normally handle it,
Hmm.
you know?
I want to say something. As you mentioned this, how grateful I am to even have the opportunity to even be able to make a choice. To be able to make a choice to see Eastern and or Western, or Western and or Eastern, or either or none of the above. Like we actually have a choice. We're not forced to go to either or. And I think that is an awesome thought because we don't. I mean,
Oh,
even though our medical system is not as great as we deem it could be, we have a lot of options. We have more options than most.
I'm saying we're coming to a time now where the the I the understanding of holistic medicine is seeping into the consciousness of Western medicine, right? Because every generation is going to have this different set of doctors that come out of medical school with beliefs and feelings to them, right? And
Mhm.
before we got a very particular type, right? Because they were so heavily influenced by the pharmaceutical companies. If you know how medical school works,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
they scout doctors out from medical school from these
Mhm.
companies, you know. But a lot of that weight is falling away, right? And so you have a lot more that the consciousness era is a real era that we're all seeming to experience here. People are having their
Mhm.
own awakenings at their own point. It's happening to a lot of doctors. You can find YouTube about doctors who walked
That's
away
true.
from well-paid doctors because
Mhm.
they felt like they weren't really helping people, and they forgot that they came there to help people, and it didn't become about helping people, it became about being right and making money and
Mhm.
and flipping people, essentially. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm. Mhm.
And a lot of people are waking up to the brainwash, right? And I think that's
Mhm.
happening in Western medicine as well. You know, this is why
I,
as hypnotherapists, we can work. This is why I'm not gonna try to help you in something that a doctor would, right? Because I know I can help get you to the right doctor now
mhm.
that exists today that could respect the fact that we could work together with the mind and the body.
Touching on your point with the doctors and kind of getting out of the business, one of my really good friends, I just spoke to him this week, is was a plastic surgeon, and he says, this malpractice insurance is far too much, and I don't necessarily want to do this. I don't. This is not right for me. And he switched completely to the holistic side. I'm like, whoa, because he felt like it was too. He didn't get into the business for that, and like he's happy now. He's helping people, and he seems to be the happy
Okay, we lost you for a second there. I know we're gonna leave off when he comes back. He's happy now and he's helping people. But let's get to some of these comments. Uh Sunchild said, "That's what I do when I'm in pain. I go within and sleep." Sunchild is very true, you know. And the interesting thing is because our body, you think about the medicine, people think they take a pill, you're gonna feel better. No, you take the pill, you go to sleep, you rest, your body can incorporate the medication you put into it, and then bam, you get better from there. But you need rest. And most Americans are overworked, extremely tired, and their bodies need rest. Their mind is going 100 miles a minute, but the body is in complete contradiction with the mind. And that's where we see so many illnesses and and and, and I believe so many illnesses and diseases here in America the way we are seeing them. I think a lot of it is has to do with the psychological. But you were saying he's so much better now. Is
Oh,
that
in terms of the doctor, yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, man, he's so much happier. He's like he doesn't have to deal with the medical system. Everything he's doing actually is helping his patients. But he had to pivot. He saw the writing on the wall. That malpractice insurance is extremely expensive. And he was just like, first of all, I'm in the field where I'm not really helping my people the way I want to because he was doing emergency room plastic surgery, right? And he just, I think it really beat him up. It's like, yeah, this is not where it's at for me because there's so many rules. I can't help the people the way I want to. I want to actually help. And since he's been doing that, he's like really happy. So it is happening. The change is happening.
yeah,
So
there's a shift that's happening, and it's even happening within Western medicine, you know, because as the field of neuroscience science has developed so greatly, they truly begin to understand the connection between the body and the mind, right? And that there's a lot more going on in the mind that is affecting the body than was originally understood.
hmm
Sunchild said they still do. You have to go to an alternative doctor when you get in your 50s. That's when they really try to get you to take meds.
yeah, that's where the money is. That's where the
Very
money
true.
is, man. In the 50s, that's
Mhm.
where the money is because that's when your problems from the last 50 years have
Caught
starting to
up to
show
you.
up. hmm
Plus,
But
it's a
hey,
way to
this
wear
but
down
this
your retirement, you know.
but this is why fasting twice a year is extremely important. Fast, cleanse, whatever you want to call it. Change your diet for a week or two for one twice a year. That is highly important to your health. If you want to live and have a fruitful life and be mentally capable, um, fast. Eliminate the toxins that are stored into your body. And if that's the only thing that you do that's holistic, do that at least once a year. But you should be doing it every 6 months.
I mean, technically, you're supposed to fast with each season.
Yes, but I mean, as an American, that's
I'm just saying, if you're going to go there on this fasting thing, you're supposed to fast with each season because each
mm,
season brings in a different um, temperature, different atmospheric conditionings, and different weather, which also affect the blood pressure and affect your internal system. So the importance of the fast was so you can recalculate and reset the body. Each season has a set of food you're supposed to be eating that is in alignment with the season. But of course, like you're saying here in America, that's not something that a lot of people. But I would share it because I like to. I had a show. I don't know y'all guys know. I had a show before with MREC on MREC TV. It's called Heavy Gems. If you want, you can go check it out. It's still on YouTube. I helped a lot of people, lots of people, and I ran across that issue a lot. You know, where people had a particular belief system, and it's really their belief system that is creating the illness or what they think needs to do. Because naturally, if you're going with the body and you're studying our people and the way the ancestors did it, each season has a harvest. You don't plant the same thing all year long necessarily.
No,
You see,
yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
different things.
Every right, and the body operated under the same principles, right? So we were supposed to do a fast to cleanse the
Secure.
body, and then begin a new diet that's in alignment with the season. But of course, people don't follow that.
Well, you're talking about creating black soil, and that's a whole different conversation. Because literally, that's what you'll be doing in your body. The same system. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Well, you can't say something like that, like it's and then
Yes, I can. Yes, I
also
can. We can move on.
that's just
Hit and run, man. Hit and run.
a black cell.
I said black soil. Black soil. This is the whole system and how we used to do our soil. You plant certain things, certain seasons to get the highest alkaline and
Yeah, on
carbon.
the soil. You're right.
Yeah, in the soil. But essentially, that's what we're talking about doing to ourselves. It's the same
Right.
system.
And I'm saying,
Right.
like, we can't really, well, you can. I don't want to say what people can't, because the whole point on the show was that people would come in and I was being told, people don't understand this. They're not going to understand what you're talking about. They don't get it. That's too far.
Technical issues today. We are really giving me.
Need to know this kind of thing. Had it with people in a certain way because, and quite often, more often than not, people would chime in, call in, and they would say things like, I was thinking that, or, I remember hearing that before, or something along those lines that it would bring back this remembrance of this information and how true it was, But I find that when you work on your mind and you learn that happiness is the contract you make with yourself. It's a contract you write with yourself. Now you might write this contract to say, like, because we all know happy is something we generate. It's something we decide to feel, right? It's a state that we enter into, right? Happy. Right? Now, a lot of us, what we do, and why we can't be happy is because we'll do things like this. Well, we'll create this contract with ourselves that says, well, I can't allow myself to be happy until I receive A, B, or C. I'm not going to be happy till I get the perfect relationship. I'm not going to be happy until I get the money I want. I'm not going to really be happy till I get the success that I want. Right? That's the contract. You see what I'm saying? And now they live in this contract. So all the good things that could make them happy, things that could actually live in the moment in, they don't even register. Can't be registered because it doesn't adhere to the contract that they wrote. Right? This is a part of aging you, breaking your body down, wearing yourself out before your time, making these emotional contracts with yourself to have physical things that will only result in an internal experience. So it's crucial to make a new contract with yourself that I'm going to be happy because I can be. It's not one thing I actually have to generate this feeling inside myself because I have all the internal processes. I have all of the experiences. You've had happy times. You've laughed at a joke. You felt good. You felt on top at one point, even if it was for a day, a fleeting moment. You know that feeling. And in your mind, it's infinite. There's no clock up there. You could take a moment. That's what most of us do. We take these moments from our lives and we stretch them into infinite experience and say, this is why my life has been so bad because of this one experience that was 5 minutes out of your life. It ages you. It causes the body to break. It keeps us right there where we feel we need to be. Keeps our story alive. Some of us is woken up to that, and we want to change it. Not sure. That's why I'm here. That's why Chef is here. Because you can change your story. You're not gonna just do it on a verbal conscious level. You're going to do it on a deep knowing. So that's where I sit with this. I know we coming up on the end. We got about maybe 20 minutes left. And I just wanted to let everybody know the techniques used to and happy to stay positive, right? Because right now what I'm experiencing, and I would love for you to chime in the chat, is a lot of toxic positivity. You know,
I didn't hear what you said. I just heard that last till end. I'm having issues today, unfortunately. You said I heard toxic positivity, which I see
well, I was saying, Mhm.
habitually. It's something that is over saturated because it's not even real life. Because literally, the pursuit of happiness is literally like 80% of your life, and 20% may be happy if you're lucky, right? You're never gonna be fucking happy 100% of the time. So like when it's just everything is just happy and up, because that's just not realistic, you know. And no one really deals with the realistic numbers of trying to attain that state of positivity and remaining in this higher state of being, which is extremely difficult, as you know. But literally, the pursuit of happiness is like 80% of your life.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you just said. Toxic positivity to me is something I've been seeing and experiencing from people, whereas in they use certain language and vernacular, which implies they are being positive, but at the same time, they're dog whistling and they're actually using covert inferential language that implies something completely different at the same time. You know, for example, a lot of people who go around hollering they have to protect their peace. Peace is not something to be protected. Peace is what you experience when you feel protected. Do you understand what I'm saying? So there's a lot of language that's used, and I'm seeing it in this life coaching area. And I've been listening and dropping in and listening to people doing these life coaching things and noticing, observing, and I have to be honest, it makes me feel great. It makes me feel like I'm bringing something to the table that's very separate from what others are bringing to the table. We get to do something and offer a different experience, right? I don't wanna hate on them or shut them down in any way. They For the people they assist, they are assisting and they do great work for. But I would never handle a person the way they do, right? And I don't feel like a lot of this stuff is it's like I said, it's a toxic positiveness where they've taken what should be good, healthy language and turned it into some weird defense mechanism, you know? And so yeah, that's wild. What do you think about
Man,
the
I just know when I had to face my shadow side, there was no talk of flipping it. There was just facing it and surviving. It's something I never done that I needed to recognize and implement within my own personal life. So all of those parts were necessary parts for me to go through. And there was no manipulation of my language because it could not be manipulated because I had to face myself. Right? Because if you're truly facing yourself, there is no, I mean, you can't heal a lie, right? That's what we're told. You cannot heal a lie. So if you're manipulating yourself, then you're lying to yourself. Therefore, you are not healing yourself. So, I think when the language starts to get manipulated or altered, everything becomes inverted. And that doesn't mean the same. So,
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I am someone who definitely would say I could see the value in what you're saying. Um, a lot of this toxic positivity, in my opinion, is really just the result of people exploiting uh, the self-help uh, lane.
it's a lot of money here.
It's a
It's a lot of money here.
Yeah. Well, people want to be. They are looking for help. People want to be helped, and a lot of this stuff is super manipulative, and they quote, a lot of these gurus and other people, and I don't think a lot of them actually know what they're doing. I think that a lot of them end up hurting more people than they actually help in a lot of instances.
My great master told me to learn from everybody but follow no one.
Mm.
Listen,
Uh,
follow.
Well, I was reading this here. I think okay, Sunchild 51 said happiness is within, not based on material. However, it is individual. Yeah, I agree. Right. I it's subjective, and it's subjective to your mind, you know. And when people are trying to say, "Oh, stay positive," to me, it's not really about staying. I really feel there needs to be better verbiage in there instead of saying positive and negative. It's really a black and white type of language that sort of either implies one thing or the other. And I
I
don't
mean,
think it's really that simple, right? What I think it's really about is being open and allowing, right? And flowing, right? And best example, Bruce Lee, be water, my friend. You put water in a glass, it becomes the glass. You put water in a tea kettle, it becomes the tea kettle. Water can crush you or it can give you life. Be water, right?
Well,
Hold space for all things and know that none of it is over, right? Until you are over. And sometimes people jump the gun about what they think is happening before the whole thing has actually played itself out,
mhm.
you know? And so with the positivity thing, a lot of times I think it falls into this very not understanding what it means to be selfish and to be selfless. Because first you must learn to be selfish.
I'm losing you today. Darn it. This is the worst today. There we go. Finally back on. You there? Uh-oh.
Just making sure. Hey, Peach, we good? I lost the chat, but that's okay. It'll be back. Got time for that then.
Oh, losing again.
I am here.
Okay, you can hear me. There we go. You know, there's a. I kind of wanted to throw this out there. I don't know anyone who has overcome a horrible situation that was meaning about something into their life. Like, to make dig deep enough before to bring out the best in them. So when we start mentioning the toxic positivity, like, isn't negative situation based on it dealing because they are doing everything they can to get themselves out of it. So that negative situation brought on something positive. So how can we not?
Well, yeah. Well, people, when I said my point is when we're in the moment, we can't see. We haven't let the whole story play out yet. We are already framing it as something that thing. Whereas in this actually just a moment of time in a longer story to unfold. And when we begin to understand that we don't know how the story is going to unfold, we can look at it and be more open and allowing to what we might be framing negative. Because what makes it negative? Right? Oh, I don't have any control over it. It makes me feel a certain way. Right? It led me to an outcome I didn't want. This is what makes something negative. But everything you just described on the flip side of that is what you do want. Right? So sometimes a negative, what they call a negative experience, is a clarifying experience. Right? It can bring clarity to our true desire. Right? It's all about our framing and reframing it and turning it into something that works for us in our mind. Because the mind don't know the difference. It doesn't know what's good, what's bad. It has no real understanding of that. It only has a true understanding of survival. It doesn't really play in this world very the way you think it does. You know? So I think that's a big part of it personally. And I know that we're coming up on the last 7 minutes. So I was gonna get ready to wrap this up for the day because I know Peach got things to do. And yeah. Hey Peach, I want to let you know I appreciate you. I appreciate Maybach for dropping in and everybody who's been listening in and tuning in. We want to wish you one of a very wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Not, you know, uh, not something that you sit around and stress out over, but something that hopefully brings you miracles and brings you wonderful happenings and some doors open and hopefully some wonderful food and barbecue if that's what you're into. But we just want you to have a wonderful weekend. And yeah, you got anything you want to say before we get out of here, Chef?
I apologize for my own personal issues, and everyone be safe, have a beautiful weekend, and enjoy your family. I thought this week for me was a wash, but I clearly need to rest. So sit down or left down to rest. That's perfect. So if you don't find it, just rest because I'm sure you need it. That's it. Have a beautiful weekend.
Yeah. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. You'll take a good rest, take a good nap if you could get one in, and be grateful, you know. And if you want to know the best time to say your affirmations is 20 minutes into waking up and 30 minutes before you go to bed. That's when they're most effective, and that's what it'll sink into your subconscious mind. I want to thank you all for listening in to Beyond the Mind. My name is Talib, and I'll see you next week. Say you speak. Hey, go ahead, man.
Welcome to Rewriting Your Reality, a video focused on hypnotic modalities to shift the belief systems that keep you captive. We will explore the journey from being subconsciously programmed to achieving quantum freedom. Get ready to dismantle everything you thought you knew about your own limitations. The mind's power is a historical fact. Franz Mesmer introduced animal magnetism in the 1700s. James Braid coined hypnotism, defining it as a focused physiological state. Crucially, before anesthesia, major surgeries were performed using this trance state, proving the mind's ability to override physical pain. My personal journey proves the mind transcends the body. A near-death experience revealed pure awareness. After being paralyzed, I reprogrammed my body through visualization and discipline. The core truth is that identity is the prison and the key. Your mind can reshape reality itself. Unmasking the global hypnotic modality. Secret societies and governments. They understood the power of the trance state long ago and weaponized it to shape societal structures from the shadows. Corporate hypnosis. Advertising and media use sophisticated neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, to obscure reality and shift your belief systems without your consent. The ultimate goal, to control the narrative, consumption, and consciousness of the masses, turning individuals into predictable units of a manufactured paradigm. They are the masters of the hypnotic modality. The first element of global hypnotic modality is authority, manufactured to establish psychological inferiority. Uniforms, robes, and controlled environments trigger unquestioning obedience. When you look up to an authority, your critical factor is lowered, accepting suggestions as absolute truth. The uniform is the first induction. The second element is translogic, a self-contained system logical only within its own framework. This creates a closed loop of reasoning. A doctrine establishes ultimate authority, turning rules into absolute truths. The paradigm acts as a perceptual filter, making external manipulation feel like internal conviction. The third element is overload, creating an intense, rapid-fire experience that bypasses the conscious mind. Techniques include sensory saturation, emotional triggers, and message overload. This forces the subject to feel something profound, anchoring the belief without rational scrutiny. The heart accepts what the head has no time to question. The grand illusion is when you become your own hypnotist. Division keeps us fighting each other, distracting us from the masters of the modality. They use filtered evidence to make you doubt your power. The ultimate control is when you self-hypnotize with their suggestions. I am not enough. This is the self-hypnosis of suffering. The quick release uses the Sedona method to clear emotional debris. Emotional baggage is just something you are holding on to. You can drop it using these 4 questions. Could I let this feeling go? Would I let this feeling go? When? Answer: now. Repeat until you feel a tangible shift in your state. The reframe shifts meaning and reality. Change the meaning you attach to an event, and you change your emotional response. Content reframing actively searches for the positive intent or hidden benefit. Failure is just data and feedback. A block is a stepping stone. Change the question to change the destination. You are already in a trance. Self-hypnosis is choosing your own program. This is your new operating system. Use a simple countdown to enter a deep state and plant empowering beliefs into your subconscious mind. Consistent practice rewrites your core identity, dissolving suffering and manifesting the quantum you. Are you ready to take your quantum leap? This exclusive transformation package offers the book 30 Days